the Empire State Building back in 1930 took tremendous risks, often working long hours at high altitudes with no harnesses. Some tech workers hope future tasks like these will be completed with fewer risks to humans, and this might be what that looks like, at least at an early stage. It's a prototype robot being tested at a construction site in Italy. It's designed to work alongside people, though concerns about robots replacing them often come up when machines start to appear on the job. The robot is able to paint, drill, sand, carry heavy objects. It can be programmed to handle a variety of tasks. And developers are hopeful that when it comes to more dangerous work in unstable environments, replaceable robots will take on the risk instead of people. Time and tech will tell if the construction crew of the future will operate on gear grease instead of elbow grease. I'm Carl Azuz for The World from A to Z. Welcome to the show. If you live in the United States, there's a good chance you know someone or you are someone who's come down with the flu recently. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control expects there have been at least 29 million sicknesses so far this season, and though cases are usually high this time of year, the CDC says flu levels recently hit their highest point in over 10 years. They're also widespread around the country. On this map, the darker the color, the higher the flu activity.
This flu season continues to worsen. Cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are all trending up, according to CDC data.
This is the most severe season that we've seen in terms of numbers of cases in about 15 years.
Dr. Daniel Kariskis with Brigham and Women's Hospital says symptoms of flu can include high fever, muscle aches, body pain, and headache. But he says if red flags are present, like a persistently high fever, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, it's time to get emergency help, as it may mean pneumonia is developing.
We don't think that the cases themselves are more severe or that this strain is causing worse flu than in a typical season. It's just so much more frequent.
Kariskis says those at highest risk of getting severely sick are seniors and those with some pre-existing medical conditions like heart disease and lung disease.
Flu cases typically reach their highest levels in February, and most people who get sick fully recover within a week or two. Health officials say the flu vaccine can help keep infections from being severe, though some data suggests this year's vaccine may not be as effective as some previous shots. To strengthen your immune system naturally, experts advise getting plenty of sleep every night, exercising regularly, and avoiding sugar and junk food in favor of healthy options. They also say to avoid large crowds when you can, frequently wash your hands, don't touch your face, and stay home when you're sick to prevent the spread.
Word and knowledge. Which of these events began in 1848? Crimean War, Reign of Queen Victoria, Opium Wars, California Gold Rush. A discovery at a place called Sutter's Mill led to the California Gold Rush, and thousands of abandoned mines remain in the state today.
Watch rescue responders pull a trapped teenager to safety after he slipped and fell down a deep California mine shaft. Cal Fire officials responded to the scene in Placer County upon reports of a teen who'd been exploring a Gold Rush-era mine shaft with a friend, traveling some 180 feet into the side of a mountain and rappelling some 50 feet down into a shaft, but became trapped while climbing back out when their rope snapped, causing them to fall some 30 feet. The teen was found exhausted, clinging to the vertical shaft's craggy walls. Rescuers used a lightweight, complex rope system and established air monitoring to safely pluck the teen from the precarious predicament and transferred him for treatment for minor injuries.
On this date in world history. A special delivery was made by President George Washington on February 20th, 1792. That's when he signed the Postal Service Act, officially establishing the U.S. Post Office. And February 20th was a very historic date in arts and entertainment history. Rossini's Barber of Seville, a comic opera, premiered in Rome on this date in 1816. The Metropolitan Museum of Art opened to the public in New York on this date in 1872, and the Tchaikovsky Ballet's Swan Lake premiered in Moscow on this date in 1877.
Where in the world? This is a nation of Central Africa that got its independence from Britain in 1962. It's located between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Kenya, and its capital is Kampala. This is Uganda, home to one of the youngest and fastest growing populations on Earth.
Motorcycles swarm the streets of Uganda's capital city, Kampala. They're called boda-bodas, and probably a lot worse names by traffic cops, shopkeepers, pedestrians, and vehicle drivers. The cheap motorbikes seem to be both a blessing and a curse to Uganda's cities. A curse because they disregard rules, weaving through traffic, jumping red lights, and causing accidents. But also a blessing because they're affordable. At about $1,500, they're convenient, and they can handle the poor roads. They're also a means of income. Boda-bodas seem to be able to carry everything, and a lot of everything. From wide loads, to tall loads, to people loads. They're both cargo bikes and two-wheeled taxis. Kampala's population has soared in recent decades, faster than its basic services and government can keep up with, and that includes traffic management. 3/4 of Ugandans are under age 35, and many have flocked to the cities.
So you have quite a large number of people that are young, who can't find jobs. So the motorcycle becomes an easier thing. But number two, especially in Uganda's urban areas, where you don't have organized public transport. You don't have buses, you don't have trains, you don't have trams. The motorcycle becomes the most convenient way to move around.
There are at least 350,000 boda-bodas in Kampala, and riders there are mostly unregulated. The government wants to change that and bring more order to its streets, but riders are resisting. A lot of boda-boda men get their bikes on credit. Others work for business people who buy fleets of motorcycles and let the rider use them for part of what they earn. And about that crazy driving and the rule breaking, well, some say it's what they have to do to survive and to avoid police who seize their bikes and their earnings.
When you reach a traffic light, someone just come and grab your keys. So that's why boda-boda, we just pass. We just break that rule.
Uganda's president, Yoweri Museveni, says he wants to both bring more order and help boda-boda drivers earn a living.
My kind of town, Chicago is, especially in places like Evergreen Park, where Mr. Flanagan's class is watching. We're running with the Mustangs of Evergreen Park High School. It's hard to outfox the Foxes. That's the mascot of King George Middle School, where Mrs. Whitman's class is watching from King George, Virginia. And finally, to Martin High School, where it's great to see our viewers in Mr. McDaniel's class. They're in the city of Arlington in the Lone Star State of Texas. What day is it?
Today, February 20th, is National Love Your Pet Day. It was started by an animal behaviorist in 2006 and is a time to treat your favorite non-human and give it some extra playtime or snuggles.
A baby seal found wandering the streets of New Haven, Connecticut was truly a fish out of water, or a seal out of water, whatever. Anyway, it don't belong here, so far from the beach. So authorities, who said the animal looked like it had an injured flipper, took it to a nearby aquarium, which said the little guy was also underweight, even for a seal just a few weeks old. After a bit of rehab, experts say they expect to release him back into the wild. I'd want to take it home for National Love Your Pet Day. If someone asks why, I'd say I'm keeping it sealed. Too bad it's seal legal. You can't keep that sealed up anyway. It's sealy hard to seal away with a secret seal that's supposed to be seal-faring. Sharky neighbors will know there's something fishy going on and fail to keep their lips sealed. I'm Carl Azuz for The World from A to Z, and you are the best part of what we do.